Welcome. My name is Joanna Allaire. I'm the Program Director for the Dental Hygiene Program here at Lone Star College-Kingwood. Thank you for attending this information session online. We're going to talk a little bit about our program and about our admissions process. First, let me just tell you a little bit about the history of the program. Our program started in 2004 and we graduated our first class in 2006. We are very proud to say that ever since the beginning of the program, we have had a 100% pass rate on all of our boards, and our students are out there working, and we could not be more proud. So what does a dental hygienist do? A dental hygienist is going to evaluate the patient's overall health as it relates to their oral health. We're going to expose patient radiographs or take x-rays. We can do some intraoral imaging or take photographs to help with diagnosis. We will do an intra and extraoral cancer screen. We will clean the patient's teeth. This is the part that is most familiar to you guys. And we may perform non-surgical periodontal therapy for our patients with gum disease and many other things. Our program is accredited by the Commission on Dental Accreditation. This is very important because in the state of Texas, in order to become a licensed dental hygienist, you must pass two board exams, a national board exam, which is a written exam, and a clinical board exam, which is a practical exam. And you must graduate from a dental hygiene program that is accredited by the Commission on Dental Accreditation. Our program is in good standing with the Commission, and we just recently had our every 7-year evaluation by the Commission on Dental Accreditation. Our program offers a 68-hour program that culminates in an Associate of Applied Science degree. It is a full-time, daytime program, and so for this reason, it is recommended that you do not try to work while you're in the program. It's certainly not possible to work full-time. It may be possible to work very part-time. We do have a fully functional dental clinic on site where we treat patients to complete the clinical requirements that are within the program. We do also use 2 outside rotation sites at the current time. Our students go to the Interfaith Community Clinic in the Woodlands and also to a Harris County Health Department clinic in Humble that is primarily for pediatric patients. So students are required to have their own transportation to these external rotation sites. Additionally, we do require that our students have their own laptop computer or tablet because we do in-classroom activities and testing that requires that the student have their own device. In order to apply for the program, you must complete some prerequisite courses. So the prerequisites are courses that absolutely have to be completed prior to applying. In fact, the system will not even allow you to apply unless you've had these. So these courses are Chemistry 1405 or 1411, English 1301, Sociology 1301, and Biology 2401, which is Anatomy and Physiology 1. These courses must be completed by December 31st of the year prior to your application in order to be considered. People always ask, what happens if I started college years ago and I took some courses and it's now been some time? Do I have to retake all of my coursework? The answer is generally no, with the exception of biology courses. We do require that all of the biology courses are taken within the last 5 years. So that's going to include Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2 and Medical Microbiology. So if you did take these more than 5 years prior to your application, there are various ways to refresh those courses to make them current. Here's a slide that talks about the refresher information, but I'm not going to go into this in detail as this doesn't apply to most of you. If it does apply to you, you can look at these options and you can also always contact us if you have questions. In addition to the prerequisite courses, there are 5 general education courses that are required within our degree plan. So in other words, they must be taken prior to graduating from our program. However, we do recommend that you take these before you apply, and there are a couple of reasons for that. First, it gets them out of the way. If you take them before you apply, you don't have to worry about taking them while you're also taking very difficult dental hygiene courses. The other reason you would want to take them before you apply is that you get points on your application score sheet if you've completed these prior to application. Our application is extremely competitive. For the 2021 application, we had I believe it was about 266 applications, qualified applications for the 15 spots that we accepted at that time. So it's very competitive, and you want to do all that you can to make your application as competitive as possible. We do require that our applicants do observation hours, 20 hours of observing a dental hygienist. I'm going to say that for 2022, this is waived because offices still have restrictions due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but we fully anticipate for 2023 and beyond that this will be back. So if you're not ready to apply for 2022, I would go ahead and consider starting those observation hours. The hours will be valid for up to 3 years. So it is important that you observe the hygienist, not the dentist, not the assistant, not the front office. And there is a form on the website that you will use that the dental hygienist will sign each time that you observe. We'll talk a little bit about our application. First of all, in order to apply to the program, you must be at least 18 years of age at the time of the application. And our application is fully online, which makes it really easy. You will need to submit all transcripts from every college or university that you have ever attended prior to application. And if you're a Lone Star student and have never attended a different college, you don't need to worry about this. All of your transcripts are already going to be in the system, and so you don't need to worry about this. One other comment I want to make about transfer students. If you are a transfer student from a university, because the course numbers are different, if you are a full transfer student from a university, it is likely that you will need to contact us to make sure that your GPA is calculated, because it may show up on your application that your GPA is 0. It's a funny little glitch in the system. So if you see that your GPA is not calculated, just contact us and we can make sure that that gets fixed. For those of you that are submitting transcripts, please do this well in advance of the application. If you are knowing that you're going to apply next year, I would recommend that you have those transcripts sent at the end of every semester. As soon as grades have posted, just have everything sent over. And that final transcript, be sure that that is sent over as soon as possible. The final requirement for our application is that you must take an entrance test that's called the Health Science Reasoning Test. The test will be available on the first day of the application until the last Monday of the application, and you will take this test at home on your own device. The scores from your test will be entered onto your score sheet by us, and so you don't need to worry about that. But if you don't see your score show up right away, it's going to take a couple of days for us to receive the scores and put them onto your application score sheet. This test may only be taken once per application, and even if you took it last year for the application, you must take it again, and we will only take the score from the current year. This test is a little different for those of you who have never taken it, never heard of it. It does not measure how much you know about math, English, science, history, but what it does is it tries to measure your ability to be a critical thinker. So the questions on the test are little scenarios that you have to answer questions about, and this shows how well you're able to reason through a problem. In healthcare, it is very important to be able to apply knowledge and to make decisions based on reasoning. So that's why we use this test. It is a 33-item test and it is timed. You have 50 minutes to take the test. And so it's important to know that if you do not answer a question, it's counted as wrong. So you want to finish all of the questions, but you don't want to rush through the test. So just kind of know that it's timed, watch your time, and do your best to answer the questions without spending too much time on any one question. Our application period each year runs from the third Wednesday in January until the first Wednesday in March. And when the application is available, it will have an active link on our website where you can access the application. We use a score sheet to rank applicants, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I think it would be best if I show the score sheet here and we can talk about that. So you'll see there are 3 sections on this score sheet, and each section has 4 points maximum. The first section is your prerequisite GPA. So a maximum would be 4.0. If you had A's in all of your prerequisite courses, you would have 4 points in that category. There's some description there on how to calculate your GPA if you don't know how to. So if you have, some A's, some B's, you could have, 3.5 points in that category, depending on what your GPA, your actual GPA is on those prerequisites. The second category is the general education courses. You get points for A's, B's, and C's. So you get 4 points for an A, 3 points for a B, 2 points for a C. And depending on how many courses and what grade you got, you'll get points in that category. So if you have 17 to 20 points, you'll get the full 4 points on the score sheet. 12 to 16, you'll get 3, and so on. So you can see why it's important to complete as many of those courses and to get good grades, because you will get more points in that category on your score sheet. The third category is the health science reasoning test. You may remember I said it was a 33-item test, so the maximum score is 33. So if you score between 29 and 33, you'll get 4 points in that category. Between 25 and 28, 3 points, and so on. With below 15 on the HSRT, you get 0 points in that category. I will tell you that most people do not score 4 points on the health science reasoning test in that category. Almost nobody gets a score that high on the test, so don't think that you have to have maximum points in every category in order to be accepted. In fact, last year our lowest score that was accepted, so there's a maximum of 12 points on this score sheet, our lowest score that was accepted was a 10. In the year before that, it was 9.41, I believe. So it varies every year depending on the applicant pool. And some people might get 12 on the score sheet, but most people do not. So don't think you have to have a perfect score sheet in order to apply. That is not the case. Let's talk a little bit about repeated courses. So we know that sometimes life gets in the way, and you might be enrolled in a course and something happens and you are not able to be successful in that course, and we get that. So we do allow one free, if you will, retake of a course in order to try to improve your grade. So if you take it one semester and you get a D, and then you retake and get an A, we take the A. But what you can't do is retake multiple times, because then you'll get points deducted. If you retake a course more than twice, you will have half a point deducted from your final score on your score sheet. So you can retake one time, but more than that, you'll have points taken off for each time that you retake. So what happens next? So after all the applications are in, the system will rank the applicants from highest to lowest. And at that time, the top 32 applicants will be invited for an interview. And if there's a tie at that 32nd spot, all who are tied at that spot will also be invited for an interview. We have very good news. Starting in 2022, we are going to be accepting 24 applicants because we will have moved to our new healthcare building, and we will have our brand new 24-chair clinic. So we will be accepting 24 applicants starting in 2022. We do not require a background check prior to applying to the program, but there's something I want you to know about this. If there is anything in your background that could keep you from becoming a dental hygienist in the state of Texas, because you have a very strict background check that the State Board of Dental Examiners will be administering when you graduate, then you should contact the State Board to have them run a quick check to make sure that there's nothing in your background that will keep you from getting a license, because you don't want to go all the way through the program, spend those 2 years and all that money, and then not be able to get licensed. Here is the information for the State Board. Additionally, we do not require proof of immunization prior to application, but here is a list of the immunizations that you will need prior to starting the program. The main reason I mention this now is that the hepatitis B vaccine is a 3-series vaccine that takes about 7 months to complete. So if you wait until you're accepted into the program, you would not have time to complete that series prior to starting the program, so it's best to just go ahead and get that out of the way. Many of you have already had that, and if you haven't, it's a good thing to have if you're planning to work in healthcare, or really just for anybody, it's a good one to have. I do want to let you know that the Lone Star College Dental Hygiene Program adheres to all the current guidelines from CDC and other organizations to make sure that our students, our faculty, our staff, and our patients are safe. So we maintain all current standards for infection control to prevent bloodborne infections as well as respiratory infections such as COVID-19. This is the biggest question that probably comes up. How much does it cost? Clearly, our program is more expensive than getting say an Associate of Arts degree. We have a very expensive dental clinic, and we have expensive equipment and instruments. So it is more expensive. Our students purchase their own instruments and supplies. And so the total, and I have a spreadsheet I can share with you if you would like, that has pretty much an itemized list of what the costs of the program are. The estimate is about $14,000 for the 2 years. The first year is more expensive because that's when you purchase your instrument kits. So it's going to be about $7,500 for the first year, and then about $6,500 in the second year. In the second year, some of the big expenses are the board exams. The clinical board exam is about $1,200 now, and the written exam is about $450. So, those are expensive items. So it's not just tuition and fees. You'd certainly have additional costs. But we like you to know that up front, because it's very important that you get all your ducks in a row before you start the program. We have had students who naively just thought it would all take care of itself, and their biggest stress was not the coursework or the clinical work, but it was, how do I pay for this? And it really impacted their ability to be successful. So that's really why I mention this now. So our students do treat patients in our clinic. We have a screening procedure where patients from the community can come in and be screened as patients in our clinic, which is great. It's serving the community, and it's also providing our students with patients. But we do also ask that students bring in their own patients for clinical experience. So that's going to be your friends and families, neighbors. I say the barista at Starbucks, whoever you can get in to be your patient. We help provide patients, but we can't guarantee that we will provide you all the patients you need for your clinical experiences. So this is why you need to be thinking ahead as to who could come be your patients. So I want to also share an opportunity that we have with you. We have a partnership with Texas Women's University that allows our students to obtain their Bachelor of Science in Dental Hygiene at the same time as their Associate of Applied Science in Dental Hygiene. This is fairly unique. Not all community college programs are able to offer this, and it's a great opportunity. You might ask, why would I want a bachelor's degree in dental hygiene? And I will say, if your only goal is to practice clinical hygiene, then there's probably no reason to get the bachelor's, except that you might just want that as a personal goal. However, if you have additional goals, such as teaching, working in research, maybe working in sales for a dental company, or some of the big managed dental companies have hygiene managers that need to have that bachelor's degree. So there are reasons that you would consider this. So what does this program look like? You must have already completed or be nearly complete with your associate's degree so that you are core complete in Texas. This means that you will have taken your 2 English, 2 history, 2 government, your humanities, fine arts, all the courses that are required to be core complete in Texas to get that bachelor's degree. If you're lacking 1 or 2 courses, you can still participate in this dual program. You would pay TWU for their courses. You would pay us for ours. You might get financial aid through TWU. You might get financial aid through us, although with that many hours, it's probably unlikely that you would be eligible. And all of the TWU courses are online. So Texas Women's University, their dental hygiene program is in Denton, Texas, so clearly you would not be commuting. And that coursework would be strictly online, and you would do that concurrently with your coursework here. The dual degree program has a total of 120 hours, and up to 90 hours can be transferred from Lone Star College-Kingwood. 30 hours must be completed at TWU, and that can include some of those core courses if you have not taken those yet, and you could be taking those in preparation, or once you're accepted, you could take a course or 2 in the summer to make sure you have what you need. TWU also requires a couple of prerequisites that may not be in the core. Actually, there's just one I think that would not be in the core, and that's Math 1342, which is statistics. That is required before you enter the TWU program. So you might be looking at that. If that's something that you're interested in, you might just try and get that out of the way in anticipation of being in that program. So the curriculum at TWU is going to be supplemental to, and it's going to sort of enrich your clinical and didactic coursework here at Lone Star. Here's a list of some of the courses that you might be taking. So you can see it's a lot of theory type courses, because clearly you're not doing hands-on in that online program. But it's a great program. We've had many students who've completed it and been successful. It does mean extra work, but I've always asked students who've finished the program, was it worth it? And every single one has said yes, that it was worth it. You can also, instead of doing the whole dual program in the 2 years, you can spread out the TWU portion and finish it at sometime after graduating from our program. But just something to think about. I wish we had time for questions and answers like we would do in a live session. But if you do have questions, you can contact me, or you can contact Deidre Weshy. She is our healthcare specialist for our program, very knowledgeable. She's the go-to person for any questions on the application, and our contact information is here. It is also important, you're waiting for this, you need your access code to be able to put that on your application so that you can apply. So for 2022, The access code is Healthy Smile 2022, no caps. Thanks again and all the best.